Hi guys, it's Fairy, and today I'm going to be doing a quick Anime Milwaukee 2016 convention review. This is my first time ever doing a convention review, and I only actually watch/listen to two different people's reviews. One of them is a podcast, and one of them is a YouTube video dude. So I'm kind of working on formatting for this, but I wanted to get this out while it was still relevant, so I'm sorry if this is kind of all over the place and weird. But I had a lot of things I wanted to talk about for this con. Also, you won't be seeing my face for most of this video, hopefully, if I have enough footage. So yeah. So this is my third year going to Anime Milwaukee, or Amke, so I will definitely be comparing it to other years in the past. This year, the reg price went up a little bit from what I remembered. Pre-reg was $45. I'm pretty sure that in the past they were more like $35 and I think $40 at the door for a weekend pass. I believe, I'm not quite sure, but I think this year it was like $60, $55 at the door, something like that, so it was kind of really expensive. But one thing that they did do really well this year was the lines. I went and I got my badge on Saturday morning, and I was only in line for about 10 minutes to pick up my weekend pass. I pre-regged. So that was really nice because 2 years ago when I went, I was in line for like an hour and a half, and last year it was more like half an hour, so this year it was really fast. Also, for people that pre-regged weekend passes, they also offered badge mailing for an extra $5. I didn't do this, but I had several friends that did, and their badges arrived like a week or two before the con, so it was pretty good. They seemed to have that down, especially considering that it was their first time doing it, so that was pretty cool. Okay, next I'm going to talk about organization, and I think that this was really one of the weak points of the convention this year. They had a lot of rule changes. Amke, I feel like in my friend group, Amke is known as like Rule Con. There's so many rules for this convention, and I don't know, a lot of them are kind of really strict, and I don't know, they had like a lot of things that they were changing like a week or two before the convention. They have rules about what kind of props you can bring and like how big they can be. This year your props had to be 6 inches away from your body at the largest, which was kind of ridiculous. I think last year you could have it in like a 4 foot by 4 foot space, but this year it was 6 inches, which most costumes go out more than 6 inches from your body. So it was a little bit, I don't know, kind of tight. My biggest issue this year, honestly, with the convention was their guidebooks. Now, this sounds kind of stupid, but their guidebooks didn't have, like, any useful things in it. They had a list of all the panels for each day, but on the panels, like, they would describe the panel, but they would not have a location or a time for where that panel was going to be. So if you wanted to go to a panel, you had to kind of figure it out yourself. They also did not even have anything about actor, voice actor, or cosplay guest signings at all in the guidebook. There was a signing I really wanted to go to. I knew it was at noon because I had seen it online. I had no idea where it was, and I ended up missing it because I didn't know where it was. Now on Sunday I actually heard from another friend that they had an app, which they didn't advertise for at all. I didn't see any advertising for this app. They didn't have a page for it in the guidebook as far as I saw. They didn't have any signs saying to download the app, which apparently had like some of the panel times and stuff on it. My same friend also told me that they had a sheet with all of the panel locations and times on it, which again I didn't see, and I feel like it would just be easier to include the times and locations in the guidebook instead of like on some separate sheet of paper. I don't know why they did this year. It was kind of really stupid. But yeah, that was the thing. I also had some issues with staff this year. So at Amke, it's a convention center and a hotel that are connected by skywalk. The convention center is called the Wisconsin Center, and the hotel is the Hyatt. And in the Wisconsin Center, they actually have like their own staff there. I'm pretty sure they look like they're like city workers, because they have like special uniforms on. These staff, every single staff member in the Wisconsin Center that I talked to was incredibly rude. They all had like really bad attitudes. They all looked like they didn't want to be there and that they thought it was stupid, and they'd look down on us as if we were like 12 years old. I don't know. I have some stories about staff members that I'm planning on sharing with you guys because I had so many issues with them, especially on Saturday. Then I believe the convention, like volunteer staff members were all over in the Hyatt as far as I could tell, and they were all really nice. They obviously like didn't treat us the same way because they're the same kind of people as we are. So they were all pretty alright from what I could tell, so that was nice. As for the dealer's room and artist alley, I really have no complaints at all. The dealer's room was probably about the same quality as last year. They put it in one of the, I think 2 of the ballrooms actually. It was very big, a wide selection of merchandise. They had something for everybody, lots of stuff. It was really great. Also, the artist alley this year, I have to say, was quite exceptional. I always like where they've had their artist alley. They have it outside the dealer's room, so people are constantly walking through it. But the artists this year were all really great. I loved all their stuff, and they were just awesome. They were all really nice and had great art, so... So if you were not aware, Anime Milwaukee actually has a maid cafe. I absolutely love their maid cafe. It's called Hoshi no Yume Cafe. All of the maids are volunteers, and they actually have like training sessions where they come in like outside of the con during like the summer and stuff like that. So they're all really great at their job. However, we had some issues like actually getting into the cafe. So we tried to go on Saturday night with Mallory, Mallory, and Maddie, because it was Mallory's last day at the convention and she really wanted to go. But while we were waiting in line for the elevators, they told us that they weren't accepting more people into the maid cafe because it was so full. So we ended up not being able to go. They had to turn a whole bunch of people away, which was kind of odd because I've literally never had that happen before. And then on Sunday, Maddie and I ended up going around 2 o'clock or something like that. I don't really remember. And it was just her and I, and we were waiting for about half an hour to 45 minutes just to get a table. So I don't really know what was up with that, but once we got in, the food was great, the maids were great, the atmosphere was great, they had remodeled the upstairs part, and it was great. I loved it. However, the maids informed us that it was actually their last year doing Hoshi no Yume at Amke because of like something about regulations and like certain foods that they weren't going to be allowed to serve next year. And I also heard from some other maid that like they wanted it to be more of like a business setting up there or something like that. So I don't really know if they're going to have a maid cafe at Amke next year, which is really sad because their maid cafe is excellent. It's so well organized and everyone really loves it, so I'm really sad about that, but you know, I guess that's just how it is. Alright, now on to, this part in my book is labeled numbers/crowd/people because I wasn't really sure what to call this. As of right now, there's no official count out for like the attendance. I'm recording this on March 14th, so there's no official count out yet as far as I know for how many people bought badges for the con, but I didn't think it was too overcrowded. It was about the same as last year. However, I wish Amke would stop happening at the same time as other events. This has happened every single year that I've gone. My first year, 2014, there was a hunting convention. Last year there was a gymnastics tournament, and this year there was a volleyball tournament. So with all these anime con people and all these sports people all in the same area, it makes for some really awkward moments and also just contributes to more overcrowding. So I don't know if they can do anything about this at all, but it would be really nice to just have the convention center all to ourselves, because there's some really like rude and creepy people that come for these like sporting and hunting events, and it'd be really great if we could just be by ourselves. Okay, now I want to talk about the video game room really quick. It is absolutely huge. It's in the Hyatt, and I think like the main ballroom. It's really big. They have a ton of stuff. But Maddie and I went there on Sunday, actually pretty close to 3 o'clock, and I think it was 2:30 because I remember them making a half-hour announcement, and everything was full. Literally every single console game you can imagine had somebody at it, and we couldn't play anything, which was really upsetting. So it was incredibly crowded. We couldn't walk very far without like bumping into somebody. But their game room was really good. You can get pretty much anything you want. You just have to swap your badge for the game. But I'm just really bummed out that it was so crowded this year. As for panels, I ended up not going to any because, number one, none of them really stood out to me as something I wanted to go to. And number two, even if I wanted to go to one, I couldn't because I didn't know where they were or when they were. I had a few friends that either led panels or were in panels, and they said that they were pretty good. One of my friends said that his panel, the time got moved and he wasn't told, so he had to like find the schedule and look at it, and it ended up being a different time than what he thought. And a couple other ones like started late, but from what I heard, it seemed like they went fine. Alright, last section is going to be the masquerade. So this is the cosplay contest. This year was my first year not competing at Amke, and it was much more relaxed. I'm glad I didn't compete. But the doors were supposed to open for seating at 5:30. They opened a little bit late, probably around 5:40, 5:45. So we got in there, and then we waited and waited. It was supposed to start at 6, but it started around 6:15, 6:20, so that was kind of frustrating. Amke's masquerades always start late, which is really annoying, especially because at like DaishoCon, they start right on time all the time, so I don't really know what the issue was. Usually Amke like takes a really long time after all the contestants have gone and the judges are like judging the competitors, but this year they got through it really quickly. I wasn't sitting there like bored and wanting to leave. They got the judges like in and out really fast, so I'm glad about that. This year there seemed to be fewer contestants than usual. I'm not really sure if that's just me or if that's everyone, but it seemed to me that it seemed a little bit smaller than usual. Overall, I would give Amke this year a 7 out of 10 if I had to rate it. It was not my favorite year at Amke. It was kind of an off year for me. I don't really know. If I included my own like personal friend group drama that I had during the weekend, I would give the weekend a 6 out of 10. It was very stressful, but a lot of it was not the fault of the convention itself, so I'm trying to not factor that into my decision. If you're in the area, I would recommend going to Amke in the future. I'm hoping that next year they're going to be back to their like gold standard. Amke is a really great con generally, so I'd recommend checking it out in 2017 if you guys are interested. And yeah, thank you guys for watching my first ever rambly review, and I will see you next time. Goodbye!